Hey guys, so welcome to part 6 of the Learning Python series. So today we are going to learn all about tuples. So tuples are another variable type that we haven't touched on yet. Jumping right into it, we'll start by just making a tuple. So we'll just call this tup for short, and to make a tuple you just put these parentheses, and then you can put we'll put, for example, 5 and 12. So I'm storing the numbers 5 and 12 in this tuple. And tuples, the big thing about them is that they are immutable. So when you're talking about tuples, you're going to hear that word said a lot. It basically just means that they can't be altered, they can't be changed, they can't be modified. When you're making the code, you can go in here. Obviously, you can change these numbers to whatever you want, 7, 5, whatever. But when you're inside of the code, or later on in your when you're writing the code, you can't refer or reference this tuple and say, oh, change this to this or this to that. That's just not how tuples work. And so if you, just like all the other variables, if you want to print a tuple, what you do is you can just go ahead and print tup, and then if I wanted to print an individual element in the tuple, obviously if I ran tup, we would get 5 and 12. If I want to print an individual element, just like lists, just like strings, we start at 0 here, and this is 1. So if I wanted to print the first element, we put these box brackets, and then we say 0. So I'll print the first element, which is 5, and then obviously the second element will be spot 1, which will return 12. So super simple. Using them is super simple. And just to prove that changing this doesn't work, if I go in here and I say tup, and then I wanted to change 5 to 9. If I say tup 0, which is 5, set it equal to 9, for example, and I run this, what it's going to do is it's going to just error out. And right here we see that it says type error, tuple object does not support item assignment. So it's saying it right there, you just can't change stuff within a tuple. So that's what makes a tuple different from other variables or other objects. So specifically, you might be wondering, what is the difference between a tuple and a list? Because obviously this really doesn't make a lot of sense right now, because why would I ever want to use something that can't be changed when I could just put brackets around this like this, and if I go ahead and do this, now I have a list, and if I run this, it can be changed. So why would I ever want to use a tuple rather than a list if they can both do the same functions? Well, the reason that you might use a tuple is because of that little quirk of theirs, that they are immutable, that they can't be changed. For example, any data that you want to store, and this is kind of niche. It's not used often. It's kind of on a case-by-case basis when you do decide to use it or don't. But if you ever have data that you want to store, for example, coordinates are a good example for tuples, and they're not going to be changed. For example, this thing happened at these coordinates at this time. We know that's never going to change. If I'm trying to mark down something that happened, like coordinates, and a place something happened, I could store that in a tuple, because I know that this data isn't going to change, and I don't want it to be changed. So I could store that in a tuple, and later on, versus a list you could change, but I'm not going to change it. So there's a few scenarios you might use tuples. You are going to use a list a lot more than you use tuples, though. It is just helpful to know this variable, keep it in mind. It might come up every now and then if you are doing projects, or you're doing fun little programs or games online. Yeah, this will come up. But yeah, so that's just a quick introduction to tuples. There's some more ways you can use it, but this is just familiarizing yourself with it. Maybe later I'll delve into some more practical uses of tuples. But yeah, hope you enjoyed.